Hello, my name is Chris Vogt, and my project is entitled, If We Want Higher Test Scores, Then We Must Make Kids Take PE. I'll start off with the PE requirements to graduate in the state of Washington. Currently, it only takes 2 credits of PE or health out of the 20 total credits required to graduate high school, which I don't think is very many. And the standards that we're looking for, we're trying to prepare students for college, career, and life. Give them a development of the knowledge of skills to be physically active, have them be able to eat nutritiously, have them be able to access reliable health information and services, have them to be able to communicate effectively, and set health-enhancing goals. Basically what that means in layman's terms is we're trying to build a healthy kid that knows what to do and how to do it to be active. He knows what to eat and how much to eat to be healthy. They know where to go for help if they get broken, and they're actually able to tell the doctor what's wrong. And they understand the importance of living a healthy lifestyle and always striving to find ways to be healthier. Our current elementary school standards in the state of Washington, this is from a time allocation standpoint. Kids are required to get 100 instructional minutes per week per year, which again I think is very low. Considering that children age 6 to 17 need at least 60 minutes of physical activity per day in order to grow big and strong. A couple of examples. In a public elementary school, like where my daughter goes to school, she gets 30 minutes 2 times per week, which is 60 minutes and far short of the 100 instructional minutes. And in a private elementary school, where my girlfriend teaches preschool, they get 40 minutes 2 times per week, which is 80 minutes and also short of the 100 instructional minutes. In both situations, I was told when I asked at my daughter's school that recess actually counts towards the 100 instructional minutes. Which is absolutely false and untrue. But the school district's getting away with it for some reason. Let's talk a little bit about exercise and brain development in children. In the image here, it's a thermographic image of brains. The one on the left is after 20 minutes of sitting quietly, brain activity, after 20 minutes of sitting quietly, and the one on the right is after 20 minutes of just light walking. As you can see, the one on the left, blue, cold, inactive. On the right, yellow, red, hot, warm, active. Think about a kid sitting in class for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, while a teacher talks about this, that, and whatever. Or just sit still working or reading or whatnot. Their brain gets less and less active, and less susceptible to, or less and less receptive of new information and learning. It's been shown that children's test scores in math and reading rise if they go for a walk beforehand, even if the children are unfit and overweight. And areas of the brain devoted to thinking and learning are generally larger amongst children who are fit. It pays for children to be active. It pays for children to be up and moving. Sitting still, listening, sometimes doesn't always do it for them. A few more little facts on exercise and brain activity. This is just in general. This is after just 20 minutes of exercising in the morning. It spikes brain activity, prepares you for the mental stresses of the day, gives you increased retention of new information, better reaction to complex situations, and facilitates information processing and memory function. Looking at that list of things, I would think those all 3 or all 5 things would be very helpful in a school scenario. So getting kids up and out of bed and getting them to go for a little walk, getting them to go for a little run, do a little 8-10 minute workout before going to school would significantly help them as far as in their energy levels and in their brain activity just coming into school for the day. Look at some PE strategies and health strategies to kind of help with learning. You can do cross-curriculum training, which is where we use elements of history, of math, of science, of reading, of English, of any of those other subjects actually in a PE lesson. You play games where you need to read, or you need to add, or you need to use other facets of the learning to help reinforce the learning of the different classes. Strategic scheduling, which is where you say a student knows they struggle in math or they struggle in English, then we would strategically place the PE class before that class, so that they've been running around, they've been exercising, they've been expending energy, their brain is fired up and ready to go by the time they get into class, versus taking math after 3 classes in a row, sitting still. Then by the time they get to math, they're mentally tired, their brain is shut off, and they're a lot less likely to accept new learning in that scenario. Brain breaks, I think these are huge when it comes to classroom environments nowadays. Little 3 or 4 minute games that are sometimes social in nature, that are sometimes active in nature, getting kids to interact with each other, getting kids to do fun little things, not only making class fun, but also giving them an opportunity to get up out of their seats, move around a little bit. It kind of helps them refocus and boost their brain performance. And the last one, and this one is huge, I feel, is nutrition for performance. I made the little note here that all students need help in making good eating choices, planning meals for their growth and development, and also to give them energy for peak performance in school. I see way too many kids walking into school carrying a Starsucks Frappuccino, and it makes my skin crawl, because they're just pumping themselves full of 1,500 calories worth of sugar, which gives them a little bit of energy at the very, very beginning, of school in the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then they just nosedive until lunch. And it's terrible for the kids, actually, and for their growth and development. But I feel like this is a situation where all departments need to be on board with this, and all departments need to be giving some sort of feedback or giving some sort of advice and information when it comes to nutrition. The kid can't just get his information or their enforcement or reinforcement of a healthy lifestyle or healthy eating only from PE or only from the health department. Imagine you're a junior in high school and you've just been told for the last 8 years that PE is a waste of time and health is an elective, and all those things do is get in the way of your achievement in school. Those kids are going to be far more combative and far more defensive to information that's given to them health-wise, because they've been told that health is a joke. So I think more departments need to get on board with giving they don't have to give nutritional advice, but at least give some nutritional guidelines, especially in that first period class, making sure that kids are getting enough to eat and making healthy choices so that they're actually ready to go when they get to school, instead of hopped up on sugar. We'll look at some scenarios of PE from around the world. Some of the highest achieving countries in PISA scores are Singapore, China, and Japan. Singapore is number 1 in all 3, math, science, and reading. China is 6th in science, 2nd in math, 2nd in reading. Japan is 2nd in science, 5th in math, and 8th in reading. And Canada, which there are some other countries that were up there a little ways too, but I thought I'd throw in Canada just because it's right next to us. 7th in science, 10th in math, and 3rd in reading. All 3, Singapore, China, and Japan, have very stringent PE programs that have military influence. They're required for 1 hour per day, every day, all the way up until they graduate from high school. In China, they actually have the stipulation that a student is not allowed to advance to the next grade until they fulfill the physical requirements of the previous, that would never fly in the United States. And all three programs focus on fundamental body movement, gymnastics, and dance in the early years, and then they transition into lifetime fitness activities in the latter, teaching the kids how to be healthy for the rest of their life. Simple, easy things that they can do, games that they can play and whatnot that they can play for the rest of their life. Games like badminton, games like ping pong, which don't seem like very stringent or very taxing games, but at the same time, they're activities that people can play in order to stay active. And one little note on Canada. Canada actually has arguably the best long-term athletic development program in the world, where they strive for holistic excellence, giving respect to everything that they do, not just the sport, but just everything that they do in life. They're trying to do as best as they possibly can. They give maximum effort in school. They give maximum effort in trying to be a better kid and trying to be a better brother and trying to be a better son, better daughter, as well as when they're actually playing their sport or participating in their sport. They're respecting the sport itself. They're respecting the officials. They're respecting the opponents. They're respecting the opponents' crowds. They respect the rules of the game. I've competed with and against a lot of people from Canada, and I've talked to them, and I've actually studied in their long-term athletic development program, and it's a really, really cool program. And their test scores obviously show that their kids give everything they got and everything they do, because they're right next to us, and they're 7th in science, 10th in math, 3rd in reading, and we are 25th in science, 40th in math, and 24th in reading. Just some final thoughts on the way out the door. Some little statistics. 44% of students in the United States have physical education instruction only once or twice per week. Many of the students receive no physical education after their first year of high school. If looking back at how many credits, like in the state of Washington, 2 credits out of 20. In theory, a freshman in high school could take PE for the entire year and health for the entire year and take care of their 2 credits and then have no more PE or health for their sophomore, junior, and senior years. 3 whole years without any PE or health. And also we throw out waivers like they're M&Ms. So kids don't have to take PE because they say they play another sport or because they're involved in this activity or that activity, whatever. We give them a pass on PE very easily, which just completely goes against what we should be doing, which is reinforcing the importance of being healthy, the importance of being active. Instructional time varies considerably, as most schools neglect to meet the allocations set out by their state, irrespective of the fact that many of these allocations are requirements rather than guidelines. That was the little example about my daughter's school, only getting 60 minutes of PE per week. And the school district just says, hey, that's what it is. And I said, no, it's not. Lastly, 2 little things. In 2008, almost 45% of children aged 6 to 12 played a team sport regularly. Now only 37% of those children do. We're losing kids in activities. Some of that's because of the privatization of youth sports and how much more money it costs. But the other part of it is just the de-emphasis on being active. Nearly 1 in 3 children ages 2 to 19 are considered obese, and only 1 in 4 adults are actually involved in regular physical activity. So not only are we failing at the level of kids and keeping them involved and keeping them healthy or keeping them involved in sports or in being physically active, but then that's turning into adults that are also inactive. I've been on the rehabilitative side of the health and fitness industry for the last 20 years, and the people that are coming to me are less and less in shape. They're more and more unhealthy. They have more and more movement issues, and it's getting more and more difficult for me to do my job to get people in shape, because you got to just teach them how to move to begin with. So that all said, we're getting beat in our testing, and our society is considered unhealthy. Something about what we're doing needs to change, and I really don't think it's sit them in a desk and make them study more. Thank you very much for listening. I'm excited to hear your comments. I've posted a question page. Take a look at those and tell me what you think. Appreciate it. Have a nice day.